welcome back. Growing outrage in California as a biological male dominates in first place, winning 3 state girls track and field championships.
Our next guest has been calling out the unfairness since she was forced to compete against a trans swimmer in college and has made the fight for women's sports her mission.
Host of the Gaines for Girls podcast and OutKick.com, Riley Gaines. She's America's #1 feminist as far as I'm concerned. The only one really standing up for women in sports on that level.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gents. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. This is Veteran Uncensored with Chris Rodriguez, former U.S. soldier. And we're going to be reacting to Riley Gaines as she knocks Democrats down for doubling down on transport's stance, and she calls it a betrayal. So let's listen.
And we just thank you for being here. So what's your take on this? I mean, by the way, I hear the mother of the trans athlete, this man who's robbed these women of their trophies and their awards, is now speaking out as well. It's sort of like, where are all the parents for all the girls?
Yeah, it's tragic. This boy's mom has actually sent out cease and desist to those who are willing to advocate against his participation in the women's category. First and foremost, it was not just California this happened in this past week. This happened in 5 states. Boys taking a girl's rightful spot as state champion, qualifying spots, podium spots in California, Washington, Oregon, Minnesota, and Maine. That is 5 states that have blatantly and defiantly ignored federal law, that federal law being Title IX, and of course, Donald Trump's most recent executive order.
So how old were you when you first started to have to engage in this topic?
So this was in 2022 when I had to compete against the male that you saw on screen just a minute ago. And so, 3 years past that. So
what is it like to be, 22 at the time, to be still a very young woman, you're a grown woman, but to be a young, and you are trying to talk the most basic common sense to adults and institutions and government entities, which are telling you something that is completely bonkers, and then also calling you names for saying what is clearly true?
I mean, I still have to pinch myself that this 3 years later is something that we're still talking about, that Democrats are doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on. But you ask how it feels. Truthfully, it feels like betrayal. That's how I feel. Right? Institutions that were in place, people who are in place, their job it is to protect us, they're failing entirely, whether that's parents, whether that's coaches, whether that's the NCAA, whether that's governors like Gavin Newsom, whether that's the CIF, the governing body of interscholastic sports in the state of California. It feels like total and utter betrayal.
And this is, look, an 80-20, maybe a 90-10 issue, and I think a lot of Democrats out there kind of know that internally. We saw California Governor Gavin Newsom have Charlie Kirk on his podcast and admit, yes, it's unfair to have men playing in women's sports. Yet, has he introduced any legislation in California to change that?
No. He's done the exact opposite of that, which President Trump, he put him in the hot seat this past week. He put out a Truth Social post saying, look, if federal law is not adhered to, I will take action. This could even result in permanent action, and that means pulling of the federal funds. Here we are, Gavin Newsom, again, has done nothing. So I hope it has been enough with the warnings. I hope we see some action, whether that's the Department of Education getting involved, whether that's hopefully the Department of Justice getting involved, because ultimately I think that's what it's going to take.
So somebody else is trying to get involved. His name is Keith Olbermann, and he's been like trolling you. It's like he wants to get into your spotlight or something. Here's what he said. He said this: she finished 85th in the Olympic trials. She finished tied for 5th in the only race including a transgendered athlete. If there had been none, she might have finished tied for 4th or had 5th place to herself. Riley Gaines was somehow a worse swimmer than she is a MAGA stooge. Wow. So what was your response to this old man trying to
creepy old man?
Creepy old man.
Truthfully, I expect nothing less from a former ESPN host who cannot seem to keep a job anywhere, for that matter. Couple of things here. I finished 85th at Olympic trials, the highest stage where only the top 1% of the top 1% are able to compete anyways, when I was 15 years old. So besides the point, My response to this, truthfully, was, Keith Olbermann, put your money where your mouth is. I happily challenged him to a race. He can pick the setting. He can pick the distance. I will even give him a 30-second head start.
I don't think anybody wants to see him in a pool.
No one wants to see him in a Speedo, going back to the conversation you guys had earlier.
Speedo crowd.
The thigh guy.
Alone by himself.
Keith Olbermann is the thigh guy. It's his thigh guy
Please
summer.
don't invite him to get into a
He,
pool.
he,
We don't want to
he
see
tweeted
that.
at me yesterday calling ICE terrorists, too. So
Did you see what he
he's all over the
tweeted
place.
just today in response to Cory Booker, what CNN, MSNBC, when Elon Musk did the salute or the wave, the heartfelt gesture, really? They called it a Nazi salute. Keith Olbermann has gone to X this morning to say how Cory Booker and Elon, it was totally different because Cory Booker's thumb was out from his hand. This man is delusional and senile and lives in his mom's basement.
Well, we're
Lives in his mama's basement. Listen, Riley Gaines, she's a superstar. She's a rock star. She's gonna do great. She's got the podcast going, Gaines for Girls, and so she's gonna be doing good. She doesn't need to be paying attention to this senile man, as she called it. That's crazy. That's funny. But yeah, no, these people are irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, again, women are being not treated good in America. And there's a betrayal. I agree to a certain extent. There's a betrayal against women and young girls in this country. And listen, it's unfortunate for young boys, young girls that feel this way. There needs to be another solution for them, but without affecting women, without affecting girls in sports, but more importantly, without affecting women and girls in any walk of life. This is more girls, and we shouldn't be allowing men in women bathrooms and all of that stuff. It's beyond sports, right? So, but anyways, it's going to be an ongoing battle, and I do agree at some point President Trump is going to have to stop threatening California. Things in California are not good at all. So he's going to have to stop threatening them. The same thing with the governor of Maine, that she tried to do the same thing. So at some point, there's going to have to be some repercussions, and I expect nothing less from Trump than just give them, castigate them with pulling the federal funding, because they're going to feel it, and they're going to adhere to the rules, to the law, once that's done. So anyways, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We will see you guys on the next one, folks. Bye-bye.